then.
Okay, great. So we're going to walk through.
I can't.
Oh,
Oh, I
okay.
can now. I can
Okay,
now.
good.
Can now. Just one. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so we're going to walk through the EUS referral process. And this. I think this is probably right, is it? Is everyone here on this slide?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, excellent. So this is what we're hoping to achieve. Look at the referral and booking process and a high level, enough understanding that you'll be able to play with it later when you get an access to the system. That stage will be for you to sort of play around with it and make some referrals and bookings and sort of give us some review comments of things we need to change about it. So this meeting is just to hopefully sort of set you up with enough knowledge to get around it. And it's very straightforward, so that's not very difficult. So this is a sort of high level view of where we are with the EUS project. We've come to the end of this design cycle 1, which is the sort of basic flow and structure and the sort of high level how it all fits together. Then this is the beginning of cycle 2 of what we're calling the dry pilot. So this is the training and handover session today. Then you'll have a play with it. I'll send out logins and things later and provide us with any feedback from that, and that will feed into the next lot of updates. Then there'll be a final, hopefully small set of updates from that, and then we're good to go. Right, that's later. So, nope. Where are we? There we are. Now, before I start, I always say, do stop me if I go too fast because it's a bit of an odd demo. Normally, I'd be in a room and be able to sort of see, everyone I'm talking to. So if I do tend to sort of speed up just because I'm doing all the talking, then do tell me. And yes, the other thing is I can't see hands raised, so just shout out if you've got any questions. It doesn't work so well with a massive group, but with a few of us, it's fine. Right, so this is the EUS login screen. All pretty straightforward. I've got a login called EUS, and then I land on this front page, which I'll come back to at the end because it actually makes more sense once we've looked at the system to come back and see what all this is. EUS is my user, and EUS is in the system is configured as belonging to Wythenshawe Hospital, which will come up in a minute as well. There will be, by the time you get to play with this, these guidelines will be done. They aren't yet. These are still the eBus guidelines, but the top level is similar. So when you go in here, you'll be able to see, you can see it says EUS there, but eBus in this text. High level, referral and booking appointment and dashboard is what we're looking at today. And then the high level processes, the referrers, which is what we're looking at today, referral, triage, booking and tracking, and the test providers. You can click on these boxes to go to a more detailed view, but this is eBus again. And then you can click on these to go down. It'll give you information on each screen. So you can see what, extra information on what you need to do on each screen. But I'm not going to go through that today because, as I say, it's eBus. By the time it gets to you, we'll have done the EUS one. Right, so we're going to create a referral first. There's a create new referral button here. And this takes us to 2 ways to get a patient. You can find one, which I'll look at in a second, or register a new one. If everything goes well in the live system, there will be a full interface to the Trust PASs. For the pilot, for the proof of concept, we were hoping to have a sort of something like an overnight update file import with new patients, but that doesn't work out. So for new patients, we'll have to enter them by hand for now. So click register new patient, and these are all the details. for this system to work, and in the dry pilot, you don't need all of this. You know, there's only the top few things you need. You don't need their address and things like that. Next of kin as well. But I'm not going to do that today. There's 2 test patients in here. When you get to test it, you can create test patients and then create referrals for them. So to find a patient, there are these 5 criteria. You can enter one or more, or several of them. Typically in a live system, we wouldn't say you should click search with everything, because obviously you don't want to query the whole database. But as there's only a few, I can click search here. There's only 2 patients. So now I've found a patient. I'm going to click on Tommy. He's the one I'm looking for. Because he's a test patient, you can see he's got 3 appointments already booked. That would be unusual, you'd hope. So to kick off a new referral, click EUS referral here. So now there's 3 screens of information about the referral. With each one, there are some mandatory fields. So if it's marked with a star and it's not filled in, then you can't click next. Let's go on to the next screen. I'm EUS, as I said, and you remember that EUS is linked with Wythenshawe Hospital, so this referring provider is set, and I can't change that. That's Wythenshawe. Everything else on the first screen is mandatory. Excuse me. For these 4, as regards these 5 things, as regards the referral, it doesn't really matter what we put in. None of these affect anything about the referral itself. So first language English is the default. There's a load of others. Interpreter, as I said, these can be yes or no for, as far as we're concerned for now. These don't affect anything else about the referral. So you saw that when I put the last one, next is still disabled there. When I filled in the last one, next is enabled. So I can go on to the next screen. Nothing is saved in the database yet. This is just sort of going through these screens for now. Same here. Next button is I need to write down. Next button is disabled. Oh yes, I should add, you always see the patient details along the top here. So whenever you're in a patient context, whenever you're talking about this patient, you should have his number and so on at the top. I don't think any of these screens need any scrolling, but if they did, this would stay here at the top. So the idea is that you're reducing the risk of entering details about the wrong patient. So, sorry, a Skype call just went off then. I've lost my train. Yes, okay. So the antiplatelets and anticoagulation. This is not, I think, not working the way it's going to, because in subsequent discussions we found that this affects the date of the procedure because you might need a biopsy. So if okay, let me uncheck those. If the patient is on one of these regimes and needs to come off, then that one, for example, it requires 5 days cessation. This will set the earliest date they could have the EUS as being 5 days from now. So is it the 18th? I think it is. Yes, so the 23rd. Similarly for the other ones here. If you know that is going to stop a day after a day that isn't today, you can say, suppose they're going to stop next Monday, then that would be added to that. So the earliest then would be 5 days after this, so that will be the 30th. And that will be displayed here, but it's not at the moment. So that affects the date we can have the EUS on. So does this. Is there PET-CT scan required? If it is, then you'll see this warning. If it is required prior, the date must be entered in order to book tests. So you can't book the EUS test until you've booked the PET-CT scan. So for now, I'm going to say that we've requested it today, but we don't have a date of the actual scan yet, so that we'll see how that behaves. Yeah, for clarity, I should say that for these little triangles here are just pull down lists. These are calendars, and you can sort of scroll through months and things as usual, as you'd imagine. But you can also type T in a date field. In InfoFlex, you can type T, and it comes up with today's date. That sort of burger thing is multi-select, so you can have more than one of these if appropriate. So we're going to leave the PET-CT date blank for now and see what happens later. Right, has this request originated from an OG MDT? If it has, you just need to say which one. If it hasn't, you need to provide the referring trust and clinician. At the moment, whatever you put in the referring trust, you'll still just get these two clinicians. But when we get to the proper pilot, it will be the clinicians from the trust. Then the clinical indications, you need to the one you of these four that you pick will affect what happens on the following screen. So I'll go through each one. I asked last week how to pronounce this, and I've forgotten again. Esophageal, right?
Esophageal.
I'll write it down. Esophageal. Okay. Oh, right. So esophageal and/or OG junctional cancer staging. So now that we filled in anything here, next comes up. Now there was some discussion about whether both of these are going to be required, but that is not. I don't think that's been resolved yet. So for now, I'm going to say you can have both or either. So depending on what you choose here, different fields become visible here. Site of primary lesion, tissue diagnosis, and then whether or not further biopsy is needed. This date investigations to be undertaken by is 2 weeks from today. If we go for that one, then similar but different. That is a spinner, and you can go up and down with that, or you can just type in number. Same here, same date again. Date investigations to be undertaken by is 2 weeks from today. The next one of these, this is only radial EUS. These are filled in because they were the same as on the previous one. They wouldn't normally. CT and PET scans. Third one, esophageal or gastric. Again, you can have either of those two. And similar fields. I don't think these affect anything else, so you don't have any other pop-up. Oh, you do? Yes, you do. Okay, so if you do a surveillance scan, you need a date. And finally, other. You can still do either of these two, and you get sort of more general fields there. So, if you have one of the standard ones. Right, now this, instead of a next here, there's a save button. So this is the final stage of the referral. And once we click save, that's now in the database, and the booking is, the referral's in the database and saved. So in real life, I'm aware that you won't go through this in sort of this neat linear order. and you'll be kind of hopping in and out of this process at different points for different patients. But for now, we're just going to go through everything in order, and at the end, I'll show you how that's going to work in a more real situation. So when you save the referral, you get onto this schedule appointment screen. You've got a tab here, EUS referral, that has everything that we've entered so far in read only. So that's as a reference. Back to the schedule appointment screen. Now, we know already that there's no PET CT scan yet. There's no date for it yet, but it is required. So we see the same warning again here. Until there's a date, we can't book that test. When that update's made, we will have the date for the anticoagulation here as well. So that was the 25th or something. Yeah, 25th plus 5, so that would be the 30th. So this would have 30th in it, which it will later. So then you'll see these search fields for the appointment are all blank and I can't do anything there. When I put the PET CT scan in, let's say it's something nice and soon, like tomorrow. And on a tab, then you'll see this search for appointment has appeared. Also, this earliest date is at 24 hours after that, and that is something there's some more debate about. Is there enough time? Is the PET CT scan? Some people are saying that those results are not reliably going to be there in 24 hours. So that is already something that will be in upcoming calls to be discussed. So again, when we do have the anticoagulation stuff, this will be yes.
Sorry,
Yeah,
can I just
yeah.
stop you there for a minute? John's asking, sometimes with radio scanning EUS for cancer, we do need additional mucosal biopsies done at the same time because there's no definite tissue diagnosis at the time of referral. Can a box be added somewhere to add for additional mucosal
At the same time
biopsies with the radio?
As the EUS or the scan. Right. Okay.
EUS.
Additional mucosal biopsies. Okay, great.
Is there an FNA or as well? Because we need FNA and a biopsy.
So like a drop
separate, yeah.
Is that the same as the
No, they're not the same.
Oh, I can't see it. So that's not the same as the FNAC? I'll have to go back in and do a new one, won't I? I'll just zoom through these. When you
Hi, John.
So
I just put you on speaker.
yeah, I'm sorry about this, guys. I don't have access to a speaker. So when we do, sorry, I'm getting an echo. When we do radial EUS for esophageal cancer or for junctional cancer, most of the time we've got a clear, definitive tissue diagnosis before we start. But sometimes we don't. We just have histology which says highly suspicious of cancer, but not diagnostic. So rather than do extra diagnostic investigations, we'll refer for EUS at that stage, and we'll ask the endoscopist doing the EUS to take more mucosal biopsies at the same time. And we just need to be clear that there's a space for that on the referral form, otherwise the endoscopist won't know to do it. And to clarify, that's completely different from EUS FNA, which you do have boxes for, and which I think will work absolutely fine as it is. We just need that extra capacity for the radial scan to be able to say, oh, by the way, please make sure you do extra mucosal biopsies.
Okay, good. Thank you. Fantastic. Good. Okay, right, excellent. Okay, can I carry on anymore? Can I carry on with this one? Okay, so we're going back
Yeah.
into Tommy test. This is the referral that we made before, that we've just made. Sorry, one of the cats is chuntering to be let out. Just 2 seconds. Sorry, the children are very good at being quiet when I ask them, but the cats don't speak English, or don't care, more likely. Right, so, yeah, again, now that if we make this tomorrow, we get an earliest test date of 24 hours later. And to sort of restate it, if once the anticoagulation thing is set up, that will be another earliest date. So in our case, I think that was going to be the 30th. So this will be the later of those two. This is, again, 2 weeks from today. It's not though, is it? Oh, that's because, is that because of this? Okay, I'll just come back to that. Just make a note. Right, now we can, this was pending before. Now it's changed to awaiting scheduling, and we can search for an appointment. So if I click that button, then as you know, the whole point is that you can search across all the hospitals, and just like the patient search, you can search these five things. You can, if the patient wants to go to their local one or some other clinical preference, they can only make a certain time, morning or afternoon, date or day of the week. As with the patients, I can click search to get all of them. And it says there's more than 100, so there's plenty set up. Now, the earliest date is the 20th, and there are other dates before the 20th, but they're not available because of the PET CT scan. So this is showing me everything in date order from the 20th. So if I pick one of those, then I need to save it before continuing. So that's now booked. The appointment's booked on this system, not on Wythenshaw's other systems, but on this system that's now booked. The booking status has changed to booked, and to change it, I'll have to cancel it, which I'll look at in a sec. You can see that this has been populated here, Wythenshaw, and 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the day after tomorrow. There's a leaflet here, which this again, there's a EUS patient leaflet button, but it's currently still leads to the eBus one. That will be updated at some point, which you can print off and supply to the patient or not. But I understand that's more likely to be the test provider who does that. You can leave this alone at the moment, or you can do it. Documents to generate, patient letter and the COVID information, which again will be generally the test providers. These provider confirmations, that's for the test provider as well. We'll look at those in a sec. Right, then the final thing for us is the COVID details. So this blue button here, you can switch between these two screens, go to COVID, go to booking details. It just switches between them. When we're on the COVID testing, again, this is the product of quite a lot of back and forth. The date of the test, the book date for the EUS is the 20th. So this has to be between 2 and 7 days before that. So if it's less than 2 days, there's a danger the results won't be there in time. And more than 7, it's not useful, it's not relevant. So there's an item here to say who to organise test. And if the EUS appointment is a long way in the future, it was fairly pointless to think about it very hard now, if this isn't going to be for 3 months. So that's either referrer, you, or provider, the test provider. So for now, let's say that the planned date is after this. Everything okay? Excuse me. Right, so let's say the planned date is too late. That should not let me, yes, date of COVID test will be no later than 2 days prior. In fact, I think as the result of a requirement that it still lets you save it, but it's a warning. Oh, sorry, that's the planned date of test. No, right, okay. So then if we put the actual date of test in, that's, yeah, this is the one that, okay, I'll start this again. Yes, so this is pink, so that's the warning. So if I put this today, that should disappear. Yes, so that's happy now. Right, now the test on the 18th, let's say, first of all, it's positive. Put some details in here. I save that. It seems we've got a problem, the positive result. So think about the test date. The test date is the 20th, so that has to be cancelled and rescheduled. So if I click cancel and save, then this test has gone into 2 places. The latest test is here, and the summary view here at the bottom is all the tests. So this is the only test at the moment, but we'll see more here in a minute. And this is the latest one here. So if we reschedule to later, so let's say okay, the 25th. Exactly the same as before, all this stuff comes up. Click save there. And we've got everything the same as before. This is still, the latest result is still positive. So this time if we go to the COVID details and say these are the new dates for the new EUS and say it's going to be on the 20th. And this time it's a negative test. So we'll put some details in there. When we save that, that red warning's disappeared. We've gone back to here. The latest test is now the negative one, so all happy, but the positive one is still listed here. These are listed in reverse date order, so latest first. So that's it for the referral and booking. I know it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but when you use it, it becomes very straightforward. I'll step through quickly what happens at the test provider. I need to do that in order to show something else. So the appointment now, I'm in Sarah for some reason, I thought I was in Tommy. The appointment now is booked in our systems, but not in any systems at the provider's end. So at their end, this appointment management screen, they can see there's these different states that bookings go through. So for new bookings, this is the one we've just done. Yes.
Cormac, can I just stop you there? Can I just ask, John's asking, how would it look if you were booking an EUS fine needle FNAC?
For the booking, it will be exactly the same. It's the booking screen is the same for each one. This screen here, you mean?
Okay. So this screen, John.
Yeah, this is
Yes.
exactly the same.
He
Yes.
says yes.
Yeah, for either test.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so the appointment management team, this is the stuff we've got booked now. The appointment is the 25th. They need to first generate any of these letters they want to. Give that leaflet to the patient. So firstly, they want to book the appointment in their diary or system, and set that to yes and save. And then when that's done, you can see that she has disappeared from this list. If I click refresh, she's gone, and she's now in this list. Confirmed bookings, patient not yet confirmed. So at some other point they'll go in here. They've spoken to her or somebody. Confirmed with patient, yes, and then some details. And the date confirmed. And save that. And then same again, she's now disappeared. If I click refresh, she's gone from that list, and she's now fully confirmed. So that booking is now fully confirmed with everyone. If I search for her here, she's now got a booking appointment here. When we went at the start, we saw that Tommy had several. So that's just because I've been through that system, that process with him before. So this is the one we've booked. Click on it again. We see the same screens, COVID details, everything like that. We can look at all of this and look at the referral. Right, now, although this was all, like I said before, this was all sort of neat and linear, in real life, obviously, it won't happen quite that way. We have these work lists, so you can see all of the referrals and bookings in any state. So you can see all, of course, these will mostly be empty now, but you can see all of the awaiting the scan date, awaiting scheduling, awaiting confirmation from the provider system or the patient, confirmed bookings and cancelled bookings. There's also COVID work lists, so you can see all of the tests that referrers need to arrange, providers need to arrange, anyone else. And you can also see all the positive tests. That's it. Then the final thing to look at is back on the home again. And these are all the lists I just showed you, the work lists. These are other ways into the work lists. These show you the totals. Obviously, this is largely empty at the moment. But here you would see the number of patients awaiting scheduling, say. Click on that view and you'd come to the list. Same as if you'd gone in via here. And the only other thing is here, so COVID there, then here, the waiting times by provider, you can see the waiting times for the procedure. So that's it as regards the walkthrough. Any other questions? Otherwise, yes. Now the next step is I will send out shortly some information about logins and patients and things for you to play with in this system. And the next stage is for you to do that and create some referrals and book some appointments and play around with the work list and everything and come back to us with some feedback. That will feed into the next design review. And that's it from me.
Can I just ask Fiona? Obviously, it's looking like the referrer is responsible for all these appointments and putting things in. I mean, we've got navigators in the middle. Are they putting the PET scan dates in and things like that, or is it just literally the CNS and the that are responsible for the running of this?
I think the pathognomonic. You're at Pennine, Debbie?
Yeah, Julie.
Yeah.
It's Julie. Yeah, I'm on Debbie's computer.
Sorry, Julie. I think the plan is that the pathway navigators would track that patient through, but the referral, I think, is going to be yourselves from MDT. I think.
Yeah, so we just initiate it. That's what I'm saying. We just initiate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
fine.
The tracker would just make sure everything's running smoothly. If the COVID tests are due or anything's outstanding, they would track that through. But I think you're the only site with the navigators at the moment.
Yeah.
But going forward, that would be the plan, that you'll both be involved.
Right, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Is any more questions from anybody else?
Yeah.
Cormac, I've got a question. After the last design review, Alex is going to go away and update some of the pages. Are we going to get another one, or will that be after the feedback of after referrers playing on the system first?
I don't know. I'll ask him that.
Yeah, because there's some changes from the last meeting before Christmas.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
So there's some EUS changes from before Christmas. Okay.
Yeah, because Alex has been on leave
Christmas,
and came back
break. Yes.
January. Yes. I've seen his changes since then. It'd be nice to see them.
I'll ask him about that. Good. Yeah, will do.
So in terms of timescales, if the link is sent out to play on this with the training passwords and logins, is 1 week looking at, or 2 weeks before we get some feedback on what it looks like?
I don't know. That's a question for Carol. Unfortunately, I don't know what the dates are. I can ask Carol to send you those. But I'll be sending out the link and everything. I would think in the first half of this week, the next day or two. So I'll be able to have a play with it. Unless Alex wants to make further changes before I do, in which case I'll let you know. But whatever happens, I'll tell you.
Okay. So you just want a list of users from me?
I've got a list of everyone who's been on the calls. So if it's just the same as that, then that's fine. Otherwise, yes, any other users would be great. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Great. Okay. So if that's that, then I'll stop sharing. Thanks very much for all your time, and have a good day, and we'll speak soon.